I do not run my business perfectly. I am not a perfect, polished, as no one is. No, I'm not the perfect, up here, but this is the shit that's happening behind the scenes, because I think that helps people connect with you and trust you and authentically engage with you in a way that so for me, it's about building trust. And by that, I think you've got to overshare. You've got to be really real about what you're doing. You've got to show the good, the bad, the ugly, and just get more real with your content so people can actually buy into you.
No Bullshit Talks is a podcast for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. There's too much bullshit out there, especially when it comes to business. This podcast aims to highlight what's true and what's not in the world of entrepreneurship, bringing you honest and raw conversations about the roller coaster that is entrepreneurship. Each week, my guest will be a high-performing entrepreneur sharing the ups and downs of their journey and helping you prepare for the road ahead, while providing you with actionable insights and absolute gems of knowledge. Stay tuned as I introduce this week's guest.
Katie Street is the founder of Street Agency, a business development agency based in Bournemouth, helping businesses win their clients. She's an award-winning marketing and sales leader with over 20 years of experience, and is also the host of her own incredible podcast, Marketing Madness. I present to you this week's guest, Katie Street. Welcome, Katie, to No Bullshit Talks today.
Yay, Sabrina, thank you for having me. Literally, I feel like this has been fucking years in the making.
I know, we've been saying this for absolute ages. I don't know why it's been taking so long to get this on the road. I feel maybe it's just the fact that we both run businesses and it's bloody exhausting.
Yeah, I know, because we don't have any fucking time. Sorry, there's going to be a lot of swearing in this episode. Just putting that out there early. So but it's happening. We're here. I'm so excited.
It's funny because you're going to be the last episode of this season and it's going to go out with a bang.
Totally.
So
headliner. I'm the headliner.
And it's going to be at the end of the year. So I feel like it's a good kind of episode to kind of close the year out and be like, right, this has all happened. What's next year about? What are we talking about? But I think we want to just be really real. I think that's the thing. So this is what this episode is going to be about. So first of all, I'm going to get you to introduce yourself so people know exactly who you are, why you're here, what we're going to be talking about. So go for it.
Okay, God. I mean, how far back do you want me to go here? I'll give you who I am now, not all the past versions of Katie. So I am Katie Street. I run an agency named after myself, which was a strategic decision. I called my agency Street Agency because everyone knew me. When I launched my agency, I'd been working in sales and marketing, leading new biz strategies for mainly kind of digital agencies. So I was quite well known in the industry. And I thought, this is fucking broken. The way that lead generation and agencies market themselves to develop leads is totally crap. And I was doing a fantastic job in-house doing things in a more human way that was not bloody cold calling like every single lead gen agency used to do. So off I went with a different idea that kind of broke the mold of what was happening in the market and launched essentially an agency for agencies, where we were very much focused on not a new biz agency as such, because we didn't do the end-to-end, but it was that front piece, like how to fill the funnel, develop leads, drive meetings and opportunities at the front end. And that was what we were always focused on. Today, sort of 5.5 years in, we're probably actually going to have our best year ever. Yeah.
Exciting.
In terms of turnover, I don't know, profit-wise, we might not quite be best, but it will be pretty similar to our best ever year. I know, which is amazing.
That is exciting.
And do you know why? Because we don't really work with agencies anymore, which is been such a huge... I mean, we do. We've got some great agencies, larger agencies that we work with, VML, EPAM, really big, who probably see them more themselves or position themselves more as tech transformation businesses than actually the traditional agency model. But we kind of transitioned almost by accident originally, because we did a fantastic event for one of our clients, and the event kind of then it had some partners sponsoring the tech partners sponsoring the event. So it was an agency called Innovation. They had Big Commerce, Algolia, and Contemptful sponsoring. We did a fucking fantastic job, of course. And then all the other clients, Big Commerce, Algolia, and Contemptful, were like, can you start doing that for us? And then we won contracts, retainers with them to kind of deliver ongoing, very human-centered event and content strategies. And then that's where they then got other partners involved, and we've kind of migrated and over time stopped working with the smaller agencies and now just work with kind of large scale, tech companies like BigCommerce, Shopify are our client. It's a really fun, exciting place to be.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that just shows you if you do a good job and you do it properly, naturally you'll be put yourself out there in front of other people, and they'll see you and want to work with you too. So I love that. But talk to me exactly what you did. So you say, like, it was lead gen, but you didn't like the old lead gen, and so now you're doing that and you've transitioned. But what is it exactly you do? And like you said, more human. Tell me more.
What does it actually mean? Yeah. So the old ways to my mind are broken. No longer can you hope to send an email. I mean, one, it's really hard to get into the inbox these days. Yeah. So no longer can you run kind of traditional email cold calling campaigns successfully. I mean, I'm sure there are some people out there that do, but really it's quite hard work. You're never nurturing an audience of prospects. You're just hoping that you're going to land on someone's desk on a day when they need you, they're open to speaking to you. I mean, it's bloody hard work.
It's a lot of luck that has to happen.
A lot of luck, and it's hard, and you're not building any ongoing relationships. So when I started Street, we were always about, and we did used to use, and we still do use email marketing, but not as much as we did nowadays. So we've always been about building relationships and building a kind of nurtured audience of prospects that start to begin to love and trust you. So that's never changed. That's still there. I guess how we do that over time has evolved, because traditionally we did that a lot by email, sending email campaigns, because you used to be able to send one email to thousands of people, no problem. Nowadays, you cannot do that. If you do that, you'll get blocked. You'll get marked as spam. You just can't send those, when when you've not got the data and it's not, you're doing it from a B2B perspective where you can break a few rules. You just can't get into the inbox like you used to. So what we do now is very much focused on, person first. So it's all about make it fucking human. Like, events are huge for us. In probably 80% of our, strategies for clients are centered around events. So we tend to put on, I guess, quite different, more collaborative and events that kind of encourage conversation rather than and also that are immersive, memorable, a bit more like B2C events, but in the B2B world. So they're fun. They're not just another room with a panel discussion and everyone sat there really bored. Yeah. It's about, I mean, we do panel discussions, but it's about, around a table, getting everyone being able to have a voice at the table. Yeah. And actually from our client's point of view, sometimes it's not, bigger isn't always better. We do launch reports. We've done really, really big, conferences, like 100, 200 people conferences, but on the whole, and they all, fill a different part of the funnel. But on the whole, if you're looking for lead generation, smaller, more intimate events where you can actually speak to people around the table. Like next week, we've got our final 2 events of the year. One, and I'll tell you about the events because that probably tells the story a lot better than me rambling on about it. So one on Tuesday morning next week is kind of CTOs for CTOs. So one of our clients, fantastic business, growing really, really quickly, who are kind of like a tech startup called Fuse Fabric. They are doing a roundtable. They'll probably have between 10 and 12 prospects in their ICP, but really, really high level CTOs. They're launching a report. They're going to be discussing exclusive things from the report. They've got Bowden speaking on the kind of digital transformation journey that they've been on. But it's a really nice roundtable discussion where people are going to be, inputting what they're doing within their business, how they're approaching certain things. So that probably is a bit more of a traditional kind of event. But the importance is everyone around the table is going to have a voice. Everyone worries about the numbers. They're like, we need to get more people. We need 30 people. But you're not going to speak to 30 people. You're not going to understand or build relationships with 30 people. Especially if you're they're a startup. So they're not, there's still about 100 staff. But, they're going to have 2 of their team in the room. Realistically, speaking to 5 or 6 people each is actually achievable, and actually having a conversation around the table of 10 to 12 people, everyone can have a voice input, and you're then listening to them, learning what challenges they've got that are going to better feed your marketing plan going forward and make you understand how to follow up with them in a sales conversation. If you've got someone in the room but you've not spoken to them, how are you supposed to intelligently follow up with a conversation to get a meeting? It's going to be really, really tough. So we structure a lot of events like that in these kind of smaller, and that's really like the C-suite only, mainly CTOs my clients are ex-CTOs of ASOS and Missima. Like they've been in their shoes. So they're coming together and they host these events regularly, building that kind of community, ongoing relationship. So that's one example. The other, and then we've always filmed the content and stuff. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then the other one, which I love, is my client Contentful, and we're doing Bake Off. Ooh. I know, I'm so excited for this. So we've got so it's all around personalization. The idea is that they're getting all of the brands. We've got 24 CMOs, heads of digital from various different brands coming, pairing them up with other brand leaders to make their own personalized bake. But it's all around personalization. So Contentful have just bought another company called Ninetailed. Ninetailed are going to be there talking about AI personalization. We've also got Eon Next. We're case studying Trinity London because they sit behind the Match to Me technology that sits on there. So a really short educational talk, like this is what's going on. These are the exciting things that are going on in the world of personalization. But then we're going to take them through to the Bake Off tent. And we're filming all the content. We're going to be doing jokey, like Paul Hollywood style handshakes. They're going to get a really immersive experience that they're never going to forget. Exactly. And that's what, to my mind, we need to start getting braver at. I'm getting my clients to do. I'm forcing my clients. I'm getting my clients to do things like events at Dons Noir, which is dining in the dark. Like trying to do things that are not just the typical. And whenever we do any event, we're trying to match the venue to the subject and tell a story around it. Make it fun. Yeah. Like it doesn't need to be boring. So events are huge. The other thing. Sorry, I will stop talking about what we're doing. You wish I hadn't asked this question.
This is the longest intro ever, but it's okay.
Sorry, guys. So the other thing that we do, I mean, it's kind of talking about what we do. I'm getting into the nuts and bolts. So you guys can do this stuff. So the other thing is then the kind of content side of it. So every single event, everything we do is a content capture opportunities. Yeah. And it's very much person first. So we're doing talking head interviews, not like we do obviously interview, we'll often record the panels, but a lot of the time it's just really lovely, human-centered, like 2-camera, nice, kind of raw-ish content that really brings to life the people and the experts and very much thought leadership led. You know how to do this, like you're having some kind of hook that gets people interested and wants, makes them want to continue to listen, but very much, we do slide shares and things occasionally, but less designed content, much more human-centered content. Because in a world where AI is creating everything and everything is fucking fake, the only thing that is real is in-person events. Only thing that is real. And that is why when you post content on LinkedIn, like we were saying this earlier, when you post content on LinkedIn, if I create a video in my bathroom where I've got no makeup on and I'm just doing something really quick to camera and they can see that it's real, that performs way better than the curated content that I've spent hours, if not sometimes weeks on creating and polishing, because people want authentic, real content because everything's fucking fake.
Yeah, and every person who's ever created a video resonates with that. And they're like, spend hours and hours, like I said, days, weeks, months, even on a video. And they're like, this is going to go viral. It's so good. I've put all my heart and soul in it, blood, sweat and tears. And then it just flops. Because people scroll past and it's like, oh, it's another perfectly chiseled video. Or now it's like AI video. Is it all fake? They can't tell. High production quality, so they can't relate to it as well. That's the thing. Whereas if you just get up, and I've done like quick videos, like walking down the street because I've got something to say, that will go to way more people because it's just so real and everyone can do that and everyone can relate to it. So I think that that's the thing. And I think I'm obviously a massive in-person advocate. Like I've been preaching my go, go, go thing, which I don't know if you've seen.
Go on.
So go. I'm like, go, go, go is my new way of doing business. So I'm like, you gotta get out, get offline and gain opportunities.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
I know. So I'm like, actually go out, get offline and get opportunities. I'm like, in person. So it's go, go, go.
That's amazing.
I know.
I wish I'd thought of that.
I know, right?
Stealing it. No, not stealing it.
Send it on air now. It's all
yeah, we know who started this.
Because I've been doing this for a while. I've been saying that like every time I talk to someone and when I have build relationships, every time you do it in person, it's just so much better. Like every time it's just, and you have a conversation with someone over Zoom, it's like, okay, so fine, you just, but then as soon as you meet in person, it becomes something more tangible. Like even recently, I met some guy at an event and we got on really, really well and it was really nice. And then we were like trying to meet up and we just couldn't. And we jumped on Zoom and it was a bit like, it was okay. It felt very forced, right? So I'm having to have this conversation with this guy online. And then, he basically started telling me that he's like really starting to get into poker, and as you know, I play poker, and we've been talking about it a little bit. And then I was like, oh, why don't we do our next meetup at a casino? And so we decided to go play poker together as our like next networking thing. And obviously then we just sat down at a poker table for like hours together, and just chatting a little bit in between hands and stuff like that. And so we got to know each other. We obviously both came away with big profits as well, so we were like loving it. And now like we've become friends, like, and it's just so funny. Like after just a few bonding, and now he's come to another poker event with me, and like because of in-person relationships, that would never have happened from a Zoom thing. And it's like when we jumped on Zoom, it felt probably more awkward and more forced, and like that's become like an actual real friendship now. And like every time you do this with clients, like it's the same thing, right? Or any sort of relationships, you could see each other online. We probably saw each other on a load of Zoom calls, but it wasn't until we actually met in real life that we actually became friends. And I feel like it's a much different thing.
Yeah, I'm so with, I mean, look, there's obviously a place, as you and I both know, for posting content. And I'm a big advocate of posting content on LinkedIn, but you can't do that and not do the in-person.
Yeah.
Like and also you have to be the same person. Like, I think so many people see people, putting out great content and thinking, oh, I need to be like them. I'm going to copy them. I'm going to copy how they write their posts, or I'm going to copy, I don't know, the way that they speak. Fuck that shit. Literally show up as yourself, because I think as soon as you start getting inauthentic, when you do meet people offline, they're going to be like, oh my God, that person's like totally different online to how they are offline, which is like, and then people don't trust you.
No,
so people have got to stop worrying about being this polished, amazing, but and not everyone. You and I are probably quite confident and out there and exactly the same online as we are offline, if that makes sense. But lots of people aren't like that. So I would also advocate, like, if you are more introverted, then own that and actually just be on, like, just say, like, I'm an introvert. I'm really not confident doing this, but I'm trying because I want to, and I know that I need to put myself out there. So I do think there's a lot of, not everyone is kind of born to do this. Like, in another lifetime, I probably would have quite liked to be a TV presenter or something. But, that's not for everyone. But some people, I think are so worried about feeling like they have to show up in this certain way, where actually there'll be loads of people that can relate to them being introverted and not being as confident talking up, that actually they'll create their audience of people that love and trust them. So I think you've got to stop worrying about everything being perfect.
I mean, other people have built a brand from being introverts or being like different. And like, take, for example, Ellie Middleton, right? So she was one of the first people I had on my TEDx Shoreditch talks. And, I picked her as a speaker because she was always putting out content about, what it's like having, like, ADHD and autism. And she's not confident in terms of speaking, public speaking. And she was like, and I wanted to show the world that someone who is really shy and isn't a confident speaker can get up and do a TED talk. And she had a fidget spinner while she was doing it, and she was and like, she needed some slides and everything like that, but her talk's done really, really well. She's now got like books published by Penguin. She's like, huge everywhere. She's got following everywhere, and it's crazy. I went on holiday the day and I was at a bookstore, and her book was right in the front. I was like, this is wild. Amazing. And so she's built a whole brand from this, and about telling people, look, I don't want to be up like this. I don't want to show myself like this. And there's a few people who are like that. And I feel like you don't have to be loud and boisterous or whatever, having a bullshit in the title, swearing, whatever. Like, you don't have to do that. And if it's not for you, then that's fine. Like, just show up who you are. Because I think, like, as we said about in-person stuff, I'm actually, like, people, like you were saying about, I'm really confident and I'm outgoing and stuff like that. Someone asked me on a podcast yesterday, they said, what's one thing that people don't know about you? I was like, I'm actually really shy. But people don't know that because you've even seen me in situations where I'm comfortable. I already know you. But when you first met me, I probably wasn't as confident. And a lot of the time when I go to these networking events, I'm hiding in the corner. I'm actually not as outgoing. I'm a true ambivert. Like, I need my alone time. But like, when you get me in a situation, I will be loud, I'll be boisterous, I'll get up on any stage and do a public speaking talk. But actually, sometimes I don't want to have those big conversations. I want to like kind of sit around and do nothing. And I think there's a lot of people who also relate to that as well. And I think like, but for me, what the difference is that I will always still be the same person wherever I am, whether I'm in front of a client, whether I'm in front of my partner, whether I'm in front of like, you know, online or whatever like that. And I will still be the same me. It's just, you'll see like slightly different versions of me, but it's still me. And it's always real. I think that what I've noticed about people who are purely online, like we talk about LinkedIn and we talk about other creators, right? Some people are producing content all the time and they're churning it out all the time, but most of the time it's ChatGPT writing the content. Then it's their VA who's actually writing the comments and actually managing, like putting it up on the profiles and actually managing the comments. And they are not doing anything. And then the live webinars that they're doing are actually pre-recorded. So all of their content, and actually these days it's not even them in videos, it's their AI avatars. Have you seen this now? So like they create AI avatars on themselves. So actually none of it is them. They don't actually interact with any of their audience. So it's all completely fake. And that's why a lot of these people don't even turn up in real life. Yeah. Because they have no connection with anyone. And even if they do, if you were to meet that person, you've been sending so many DMs to, or so many comments on every single one of their posts, like the most loyal follower that you are, and you think you built up this relationship with them, they have no idea who you are. And that for me is horrifying. And I think it's wrong. As a creator, I think it's really wrong. These are the people who put money in your pocket. These are the people who spend hours and hours of their time dedicating to be there for you, to show up to your content on a day-to-day basis. You can't even spend 5 minutes to reply to their stuff and get to know who they are and what their wants and needs are to help them. I just think it's really distorted that. And that's why I also believe in this in-person thing, because there is no VA. You can't be having a conversation and I need to know whether you actually are knowledgeable. If I'm asking you a question, you're 1 minute, I'm just going to ask ChatGPT. Can you imagine doing that in person? Yeah. Like, to be fair, I've seen that actually happen. It's wild. But like, at least you don't get that as much. And for me, it's like, I don't know about you, but I'm so sick of how much is faked online now that it's actually terrifying.
I have met quite a few people who are like that I've got hundreds, if not like, you know, nearly 100,000 followers online, and when I've spoken to them in real life about business, in fact, you know, I won't say too much, but yeah, when I've spoken to them in real life and asked them questions, they literally do not know the answer. And this is founders of businesses that are huge, like I say huge, like, yeah, I'm talking like 7, 10, 15 million pound businesses like in the agency world. Literally have no idea, can't even answer really quite basic questions, but they've famed themselves online. And that is really fucking scary because, I mean, it is fucking frustrating. I'm going to just put this out there, right? Because, you know, my business is quite small. You know, we're just under £1 million turnover. It's hard fucking work. Like, I'm not perfect. I try my best. We do, you know, we've got a real niche. We do fucking brilliant work for our clients. Our clients love us. But, you know, I'm certainly not £7 million turnover. But there's people that but do I even want to be? I don't know. I don't even know if I want to be anymore. Who knows? But maybe. And there is this whole thing in agency land of scale and go over $1 million and do that. Yes. But like, and the pressure to do that sometimes and sell are like, do I really want to do that? Or do I just want to enjoy running my business and do great work? Because that would actually keep me really happy. So that's a whole thing. But it's dangerous. Like, and then I'm thinking like, how have they done that? How has someone, not being big-headed or rude, but maybe I am a bit, but like that is clearly not as intelligent as I am, able to build a business that's like 7-10 times bigger because they're showing up online more and they're being fake.
Well, this is it. So it's not that they are more intelligent, it's that they are willing to lie more. This is what I've noticed, that in business, a lot of the time, a lot of the people who have done so well so quickly, it's because their morals aren't quite right. Like a lot of the ones who scale that big, they have done something shady or they've lied to get there. Like you cannot, like I was so naive at the beginning when I was running my agency. I just thought, oh, the best agency will get the job. If I just show up and show that I've done good work and I'm nice to the people and show that I'm knowledgeable, then I'll get the job. Like how naive is that? It doesn't work like that. It sounds stupid because it feels like that's what it should be, right? You know, I price within their budget, really great portfolio, really knowledgeable, nice person, easy to work with, get on with them. you should get the job. No, that's not how it works. It's who you went to school with, whether you take them out in the pub and how much pitch theatre you do, and whether you like give them backhanded bribes or whatever. It's like, or how much you lie and you pretend that you're going to do X, Y, Z, and then actually you double the price later down the line. It's totally different. And I think for me, like what I've realised, a lot of these people, they are just more than willing to fake it till you make it, lie, cheat and steal to get there. It doesn't matter who they walk over, as long as they become successful.
Yeah, I think, and if you actually look, who's the guy who founded Apple?
As in Wozniak?
Yeah, Steve. Steve,
Steve Jobs, you mean?
Steve Jobs. There we go. Steve.
Yeah, Steve Jobs and
Wozniak. The original. Like, I watched that movie, and do you know what that really made me think? In order to run a successful business, you've got to be a total fucking arsehole. You have got to, like, if I really want to scale my business, even to 5 million, I'm going to have to upset people, probably make lots of people redundant at some stage. Like, you've got to be totally fucking cold and totally aggressive and totally money driven if you want to be that successful. And that's not even being like mega successful. That's just like, if you look at the things that he did, how he treated people, how he didn't spend time with his family, how he didn't, put his family first. Like, he was obsessed with his business. So, I mean, I know that's Apple, like that. I'm not expecting to be Apple, but isn't it sad? Like, and that's the reality. If you look at most big businesses, you have to be fucking ruthless. If you want to seriously make money, you've got to put money and your business before everything else.
But that's why I don't want to do it. Because I felt like that as well. Like, so for so long, I was like, what is the point? I might as well just be an arsehole. Like, because I just feel like the world rewards arseholes. Like, that's how you start to feel. You start to feel really cynical and really down about it, because you see all the bad people doing well in life and you see the good people getting walked over and over again. And it makes you feel really quite depressed about it. But you have to kind of stay strong. Otherwise, it just gets really depressing. And I just think, I don't ever want to change and ever want to be that person. But I guess you do also need to hire people who maybe are a bit more cutthroat. That's the only way to do it. Like, so I still think you can be successful even as a nice person, because you just need other people who are assholes on your team, basically. But like, I feel like, do you know what? I'd like to hope that, I guess that's the whole purpose of why I created Knobs, right? I was sick of the bullshit. So I created Knobs because I was like, I want a place where everyone is nice. Like, knobs, no knobs is what the whole point it was, right? It's like no bullshit, but no actual knobs, right? In the club. I'm sick of those people who are like that, who are cutthroat, who come to places and claim to want community, but all they want to do is sell to you. Like, and that's all they care about. Like I said, it's money first, everything else later. I want to be surrounded by people, like I said, who are super passionate, who have that drive, who don't necessarily want to sell their business, but actually just want to create an amazing place to work, do great work for their clients, like enjoy what they do, want to make a big impact and actually make a difference in the world. That's what I want to be surrounded by, people like that. Sure, we all want to get paid. We all want nice things like that too. We don't want to work to the bone and then not get paid for it. But I would rather be surrounded by those sort of people. And there definitely are those people out there. And that's why I want to create a place where we don't have to be dickheads to be able to be good at business. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just want to have that. Like, let them do their thing. Let them screw over the people. But I don't want to be a part of that. So that's what Knobs is about. I want to have a place where we can do good business and we can make a decent amount of money without being a prick.
Yeah. I do think because, we've got the younger generation coming through and they have come from this like TikTok generation where, they're like my daughter watches some really random stuff on TikTok. Like some woman who's like a mum who does cooking, who she absolutely, I can't remember what her name is. She's like massively TikTok famous, but all she does is chats, talks about her day. She talks about, and Lola just watches her but it's totally authentic, real. Yeah. So I do wonder whether what's going to come through in the next few years, because there's so much fakeness and because you can see the arseholes a lot more. Well, I don't know. I mean, AI may fix them into not appearing like so much of an arsehole, but that the authenticity and the real and the nice people will start to, come through, because people care more about the impact. Look at like people like Tim Spector. I'm hoping, I love the whole Zoe ethos and what he's doing. I'm hoping he's genuinely a really nice person. So, and he does always seem, and he shows up like that, like genuine. Again, he's not like a polished, like even listening to his podcast, I'm like, he doesn't sound like your typical super confident podcaster, but he's making some fantastic waves and changes and doing things differently, and he's authentic. And I do think less of the kind of, really, I guess, let's say narcissistic, very, very bold personalities that maybe we've bought into previously. It's going to be less of that, and it's going to be more of the authentic, real, kind, which hopefully might mean as an authentic, real, kind business owner, we might actually get a bit more cut through than just being a fucking asshole.
Okay, so talk to me about then what we should be doing in 2025, because it's like end of 2024 now. You said it's been your best year, which is great, but only because you've shifted from agency world to like non-agencies, non-traditional agencies now. Talk to me what you think is wrong with agency world at the moment and what needs to happen in 2025. Because I feel like it's not just agencies, it translates to other businesses too. But let's talk specifically agencies first. Like what went wrong in 2024 for a lot of people, and what do we need to correct in 2025?
Oh, big question. I think specifically for agencies, it's been really, really tough because we're in this kind of like COVID overhang still in my mind. Like, people haven't got the money. People have been, I think the government was propping us up. It was up. Like, we grew amidst COVID, as did lots of other agencies that I know, not all, but actually the market didn't seem to be that bad. And we've had a year or two after COVID, everyone took out fucking bounce back loans or whatever, so we've kind of been okay. Now, I think probably end of 2023 throughout 2024, it's got a lot. I mean, we experienced the toughness as well, but it was sort of end of 2023. And luckily, that's when I transitioned to not working with so many agencies, because I think budgets have been pulled, businesses are struggling. Like, even my clients who are huge tech companies, but I think the tech companies we work with, appreciate, in order to speculate to accumulate, basically. Like, you have to invest. I will never stop investing in marketing. And I think agencies traditionally have gone, shit, we're up against it. We can't invest in marketing. We need to hunker down and not spend so much. When the reality is they actually needed to be spending more. And I think the agencies that succeed and the businesses that succeed in 2025 will be the ones that show up. Because if you're not fucking there, no one's going to find you. How are people going to find you? There'll be someone else showing up, helping your audience, giving them the thought leadership that they need, helping them overcome the challenges that are keeping them up at night, because we all can do that. We've talked about that a lot today. LinkedIn, the platforms that are available to us now, TikTok, wherever it is that your audience live and breathe, you can show up there and you can help people, and anyone can do it. You don't have to have the polish anymore. So if you're not doing it and you're going, oh, I can't do it, it's too expensive, or no one's going to find you. Yeah. And if no one finds you, your business is going to start to decline. Like, sales is everything. Like, so I think I've really seen so many businesses this year cut their budgets. Do not cut that. Look at where else you can cut money. And I'm not just saying this because I do marketing, because I don't need that many clients, to be quite honest. But if I look at my clients, the ones that are doing the best are the ones that are over investing in their marketing. Yeah. Like, you have to, with the right strategies, those kind of human-centered strategies. And it doesn't have to be expensive. If you're like a one-man band or a founder listening to this that doesn't have a big team, just start recording stuff on your phone. Or if you're not a big fan of, showing up on video, think about how else, a photo and some really nice text can do just as well. Yeah. Like, show up in a way that feels comfortable to you, but start showing up. Because I think when you don't show up, that's when the problems arise. And I think so many agencies, that's the first thing they turn off. And it is honestly the biggest mistake I see. If you're not there, no one's going to fucking find you. You can't rely on referrals. And also, last thing, also, people don't even ask for referrals. They just wait for referrals to happen.
I know, it is very silly. And I think people just, because they say referrals is the most powerful, but they just expect to just land on that. It's really silly. But everything you're saying is so true. I was thinking about it, like I said, there's a medium for everyone, and literally media was one of the things I'm thinking of because I was blogging as well. Like, so if video is going to be huge, I think in 2025, and everyone's kind of going to video. So you've got like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok all have video. LinkedIn now is pushing video, right? So you've got video everywhere. That sucks if you hate video and you hate putting your face to camera. But you've also got podcasts, you've got audio. So you could also then take that audio and put them on a visual graphic, use Canva, make a waveform, and that becomes a video. So it tricks the algorithm that it is video, and you can make that video. So if you're fine with audio, you can do that. If not, you can just then write. So you can just blog. Blogging is still a big thing. People are using Substack or like, a Medium, and they're making stuff. And all the time, if you hear every success story, it's like, I started posting every single day and suddenly now I'm like got millions of followers or whatever. But it's that consistency of showing up over and over again. But the reality is, I think with founders, it's like we have a little burst of energy, then we stop. We have a little burst of energy and we stop because we've got to pull out this fire, this fire, this fire, this fire. And we don't actually have the time. We don't make the time to create content consistently because we're doing all these other things that as a founder we need to do, like trying to hire people, trying to sort out internal politics, trying to deal with an unhappy client. Like suddenly all of that is on us. Chase invoices, as he said, like we're doing all of these things on a day-to-day and we don't spend the time because also we don't see the instant money coming in from that. Like if we wrote a blog post every single day, eventually that would pay off. If we created a video every single day, eventually that would pay off. But the time it takes to do that, edit it, post it, we're like, oh, actually, we should be working on like an actual billable client at this time. And so we prioritize the wrong thing. But I think it's because we have the delayed gratification thing. And I think that therefore we don't see it as a priority.
That is such a good point. Like, it's weird, right? Because I am possibly, I would say, one of the most impatient people ever. Like in life and everything. I'm like, I can't wait for anything. I need now. Like, I'm very impatient. But I have always understood the investment that I need to make in marketing. I don't know. I mean, I've grown up in sales and marketing, so maybe that's why. Like, I know deals aren't going to like the amount of agency founders that I speak to that are like that. Traditionally, when we used to work more with agencies, and this is a big reason that I don't want to work with so many agencies anymore, is they work with us for like 3 or 6 months, go, I haven't seen the results. You're not going to fucking see the results in 3 to 6 months. You've got to hold it out for a year because we're only just starting. Like, if you think about even the length your deals take to convert, we were just talking off camera, one of my biggest clients, I first engaged with them a year ago. They've only just signed the contract and started working with us in October this year. So that's taken 10 months. 10 months for me to actually land the money in my bank account, or even not even land the money, probably send the invoice and actually contract with them. It takes a long time. And if that's that's from creating the opportunity was created months and months before that. So you've got to give this stuff breathing space, and you've just got to keep on keeping on. Everyone, in my mind, that I meet usually gives up too early. Like, I have made it muscle memory. Like, I go to the gym most mornings, muscle memory that my first half an hour of my day is dedicated to LinkedIn. And if I'm in the office or if I'm still working from home, then I've got my headphones on and the guys know Katie's crafting her post for the day. And that's really important to me. It also kind of is cathartic, is that the word? Like, it gives me time to reflect on, what do I think about the world of marketing? What is going on? What have I learned recently? What do I want to actually share with my audience? It actually helps me. And I write stuff and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Like, maybe I should make sure I'm actually doing what I'm saying I'm doing. Like, that time and effort that I put into, showing up on LinkedIn, creating my podcast every week, delivering events that we do, internally for Street and for our audience. I am never going to stop that, because as soon as I do, goodbye all that community and lovely audience that I've been nurturing over time. They go because they expect, like, even someone said to me the other day, they were like, I love going on to LinkedIn in the morning and like I wait for you to do your post. I log on to see what you said that morning. Like, and it does, I've got a small amount of followers. I think like 15, 16-ish thousand maybe, but which is still kind of good. But the other day I was in the park on a walk and a lady ran past me and was like, oh, you're Katie from LinkedIn. Like, I'm starting, in a small way, like, and that feels really good. And she's like, I love your content. Like, it's not, even in the pub the other night, a guy was like, oh my God, I know you from LinkedIn. Like, I'm getting to that like inflection point that it feels actually nice that people are going, I really find your content helpful. A guy messaged me yesterday, loved your post. This is interesting. I did a really like basic post where I like stuck my my camera to my French doors where it was nice lighting and just like literally videoed something about the importance of showing up. Like, if you don't show up, no one's going to find you. Exactly like what we're saying now. And he messaged me about that post. He hasn't messaged me about all my lovely podcast posts that I spend fucking loads of money on and time with my staff. But he did like that. And people now message like, and he was asking me a question like, how should I start doing it, or what do you think is important? It's kind of basic, like under 60 seconds, really. The new LinkedIn video format, I think it launched, it had to be under 45 seconds.
Under 2 minutes now.
Oh, is it 2 minutes now? Oh,
But it should be 9:16, under 2 minutes. And
you've just taught me something.
I know. So like, I speak to the LinkedIn team about it, and they're talking about like trying to promote that, obviously. So it's like under 2 minutes.
Oh, that makes it so much better because I talk for way too long.
Yeah, and 9:16, and yeah, it doesn't have to be chiseled, but I know there's lots of podcast stuff. So actually, if you do run a podcast, just clip it all up and put it on there.
Yay.
And yeah, it's you've got no excuse now, really. And there's all these AI tools that do it. I use, for example, Opus Clip. I don't know if you use
Yes,
that.
yeah, we
They're
do.
great, and it basically automates everything.
Yeah.
So you just take your podcast, and you can even put your YouTube links if you've already posted them. Put your YouTube link in Opus Clip, and you just put whatever number you want. So you put less than 60 seconds, because therefore then it goes. You might as well put less than 60 seconds because it goes on shorts as well.
I was going to say shorts perform really well for us.
Exactly. So same as us. My shorts are
thousands and thousands of views. Yeah,
much better than the actual
Mad.
videos, which is crazy. So when you think about it, it's like
short form, snappy content.
yeah, people don't have much attention span. But the thing is, like for me, I know that short form performs much better. And for those who love vanity metrics, that's what you probably want to have, because like you're saying, in terms of like, you know, the dopamine addiction that you get when you see those results or whatever. And like you said, if you're impatient, like you understand the long-term benefit, but maybe that's the short-term gain that you're getting. It's like, oh, we're getting loads of views. It's exciting. For me, I know that short-term content performs much better, but for me, I want to build long-term relationships, and I think long-form is where you do that. Like if someone's tuning in and listening to you for an hour plus of your talk, they must find you tolerable, right? Like it's just like you're hearing my voice over and over again. It's ridiculous. So I feel like they're the people that I want to really connect with, because they're my real tribe. They're the ones who really, really actually listen to me and actually, stick around for the whole thing. There's going to be loads of people who fleet past and be like, okay, that was interesting for 10 seconds, but actually not any longer. So I know that like that's the trend, and I will keep doing it, but I still believe in long form content. So I'm investing in my YouTube channel like for next year, and I'm going to consistently do those YouTube videos. I know they're not going to perform as well as the shorts, but I believe in them, and I know that it will pay off over time. Same as this podcast. Like the first season did quite well, I thought, and then the second season, like, you know, I've invested so much time and effort in this setup. Obviously, it's a lot of money, a lot of time every week, getting guests on, great guests, and like editing it, putting it out there. And I just showed you the notification, right?
Yeah, 50,000
streams, which I think is really good. Again, no Diver CEO stats, but 50,000 streams on Spotify is pretty epic for a small podcast. And I'm really proud of that milestone. And I just think that with time it pays off. And so this isn't monetized yet, but season 3.
Watch this space.
It's going to happen. And I just think it will take time. And I think like most people, when you listen to it, do you know what the average number of podcast episodes is for a podcast? Have a guess.
Is it something like under 10?
Yeah, it's 8.
Yeah.
I think it's like somewhere between 6 and 8, they said. And that's the average number of podcasts for any podcast out there. That's crazy, because so many people like film it and they realize how much effort it is, and they don't want to do it because there's no immediate return on investment. Because apparently, again, do you know how long it takes to monetize a podcast?
Go on.
Look at me break out on this podcast
I love
stats.
it.
So it takes 3 years to monetize a podcast on average. So it's like, if you've been going for less than 3 years, you better keep going. But the thing is, though, when you do finally get that sponsorship, it's totally worth it, because you should only be doing it if you love it anyway. If it becomes a chore, then you probably should be switching to another medium. So I believe that, like, if you stick to it, like they always say, like, success is just on the other side when you're about to give up. Like, just at that moment, it's just on the other side. So that's why I want to keep going, because I'm like, this will be my next third year, my third season. So I think, like, there's that going for me. Just hit 50,000 streams. And I think that you just got to keep going and keep showing up. And I think, like, I believe in videos, so I want to keep doing it. Like I said, this is a natural thing for me, but it's not for everyone, so I totally get it. But whatever you do, you just got to keep going. So I think I actually also want to ask a question. I want to know founders, because obviously most of the people who watch the podcast are founders. And I know that you obviously deal with like different bigger clients now, but you obviously still work with a lot of founders you have done in the past. What type of content should founders be creating in 2025? Because I feel like you're doing a lot of content, you're out there all the time, you're absorbing a lot of content as well. What content's going to work in 2025 and to make it more human?
I personally think there's so much, like I said, I've kind of said this already, like there's so much AI and fake shit out there. people need to first up have a strategy, right? So why are you doing this? What's the purpose? Is it most of the time, right? Let's be honest. For me as a founder, it's lead generation. Like I'm putting content out there, not to have millions of followers, don't need millions of followers. Like my main aim is I want a nice niche audience of people that I potentially can sell to. So strategically, I think you've got to start up front to go, who am I for? Oh, well, what am I trying to do? Who am I for? And then create your content pillars around that. I think a lot of people forget. They just think, oh, because I could post about loads of really interesting stuff about my life. Like my husband went to prison and left me with a 13-month-old baby and he didn't come out till she was 7. Like I've had my mum's got bipolar. I've got loads of things that I know people could relate to me about that actually, and I have sometimes talked about those things, and it's important to layer the kind of real version of Katie in. But if I posted loads about that, I could have hundreds of thousands of millions of followers. I know I could, but that doesn't serve me because I'm not just here to be famous. So I think you've got to be really first up, very real about what your objectives are, and then strategically for me, so most of my content is about how people in the world of tech can generate more leads through their marketing, which actually is the same for any bloody industry, whether you're a founder, big business or not. The same rules really apply. You need to maybe differentiate how you do things slightly because a big company needs to operate differently to a small company, but essentially that's what I post about. I understand lead generation is hard, marketing's changing all the time. So that's the content that I share. I share helpful, insightful content about what people should do and really open and honest. The biggest thing I see people go is, I don't want to give away our secret sauce. I don't want to tell them how I do it. I literally recorded a podcast in the office myself yesterday, just me to camera, which is not what I usually do. I'm usually interviewing people, literally telling people the exact process of how we deliver really successful lead generation events and we don't get dropout and we get really super senior C-suite people in the room. I shared every single step of the journey and exactly what we do. I don't care because the reality is someone else isn't really going to have the team, the people, the ability to do that. But people are so scared about actually sharing the real stuff that someone else might do it. But there's hundreds of thousands of businesses that I could sell to. I don't actually need that many clients, 10, 20, 30 maximum. I can't deal with 10 at the moment. I don't need that many clients. So I don't, someone else might copy me. Yeah, they might. They may well copy me.
But they can't be you.
But they're not me.
Exactly. And I think you forget that.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things I think, when I speak to other founders, they're like, I can't share that because then everyone, and are they really going to be able to do what you do? Probably not.
I think it comes back down to knowing who you are first, right? Because if you really believe that someone else can copy you and do what you do, and that's why you won't share it, then your business probably isn't watertight enough in the first place, because it shouldn't be that replicable that anyone could just pick it up and do exactly what you do. Most things aren't innovative. If you think about it, everyone's talking about innovation, creativity and all this stuff, but how many things are really that brand new and there's never been done before? Nothing is really. So it's I'm now running a members club for founders, right? There are so many founder communities out there and all this stuff. There's millions of them. I'm in half of them, right? But it's but how many of them are doing exactly what I do? How many of them have the same values as me? The reason why mine is now people talking about it is because I'm everything's go in person. Everything's really raw, really honest. It's no bullshit. I'm also me. I bring a certain energy to it. How many people have my energy that I bring to events? That's rare. And so people come because you're you. And that's what the importance of showing up as really you is, because people then buy anything that you want because they're bought into you. And I think that's what's really important. Like I said, you've got to always show up, like I said earlier. And if you're constantly showing up, then people will just buy anything from you. If you turn up tomorrow and be like, oh, Katie is selling some shoes, I reckon you'll get loads of people buying your shoe.
Maybe that's what I should be doing. Oh my God, I've got way too many business ideas, honestly. But you're so right. I think you've got to show up. You've got to be authentic. Don't worry about oversharing. I'm a massive oversharer. But also, I think a really interesting thing that I'm going to start doing is showing more of the behind the scenes, the real, the fuck ups, the crap. No one wants to hear how amazing it always is. People message me all the time, oh my God, you're doing so great. I'm okay, we are doing pretty well, but that comes with a lot of blood, sweat and tears. So I'm really going to be more honest, and because I don't think enough people talk about the shit. Like, I know you're very good at doing that, but like, you know, let's just be real here. Like, it is, I don't run my business perfectly. By any means, I do not run my business perfectly. I am not a perfect, polished, as no one is. No, I'm not the perfect, you know, up here. But the way that sometimes I feel I look online is I was like, oh, you're doing so well. So I'm actually going to start sharing more of I'm not, you know, I might look like I'm doing well, but this is the shit that's happening behind the scenes, because I think that helps people connect with you and trust you and authentically engage with you in a way that so for me, it's about building trust. And by that, I think you've got to overshare. Well, you don't have to, but I'm going to. You've got to, you know, be really real about what you're doing. You've got to show the good, the bad, the ugly, and just get more real with your content so people can actually buy into you.
Yeah, I agree. And I love that. And yeah, I do share a lot of stuff, and some people say it looks weak, and it looks, you know, it looks bad, and like I'm not being as successful as I am, but I just think it's more real. And those people, and then people trust me because I'm actually not lying to them and be like, oh yeah, we're multi 8-figure business and all this, you know, malarkey all the time, and you know, our pandemic happened, but yeah, I still did really well. And like, you know, people just don't want to hear that stuff. They just want to actually have the truth. So I believe showing up and being real, and like, there is a difference in marketing. Don't say every little thing that happens, because then your life would be like a disaster, and it is just like focusing on the bad stuff. But I do think that people need to show up and be more real. I think more people appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. Be real.
Yeah.
Be fucking human.
Yeah, no bullshit.
Love that.
Thank you so much for coming today. It's been such a pleasure having you, and stay tuned, because obviously we're going to have a new series maybe potentially coming up soon. So we just got to stay tuned, right?
Yeah, stay tuned, guys. Honestly, you need more of this in your lives.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for having me.